G'day everyone and welcome back to the Big Bros podcast. My name is Jeremy and welcome if it's your first time joining us on the show. I'm joined by my lovely friend and co-host Ilan. How are you, mate?
I'm well, but I'll be honest. Every time I go on Instagram these days, it's July, it's freezing. All I'm seeing is people in Europe having the time of their life drinking Aperol spritzers. And look, I can't talk. I was just in Gold Coast. I had a really, really fun time.
That's good.
But it did illuminate one thing that you and I always speak about. Mainly you say this, which is most of your life isn't going to be spent on a Euro trip or
partying in
Ibiza. It's going to be spent doing the mundane moments.
That's it.
And on that last day of any holiday that you have, you always think, how can I make this experience my reality back at home?
Yeah.
And the truth is you can't. But what you can do is make the mundane moments of your life,
Exactly.
the things that you have to do at home, more enjoyable, perhaps more productive, but more meaningful.
Exactly. And I think a lot of this inspiration for this episode is exactly what you talk about there. It's that time of the year where we are very much in our homes, freezing our tits off, seeing a lot of people in Europe having the time of their lives, and that sparked this episode. But also what sparked this episode is a lovely person got in contact with us, messaged us through the DMs during the week and said that they find a lot of enjoyment in our episodes that are very much hack, or not necessarily hack based, but more so like tip based,
Skills based.
How can we increase whatever it is that we are talking about on a skills level, in a hack kind of level? How can we make things, how can we optimize certain things? And so they said they very much enjoy those types of episodes, and especially when discussing mundanity of life, because that's something we talk about a lot. But more specifically, they wanted to know, how can we actually do that? How can we actually enjoy the mundane moments more? Because we speak about it all the time, but how can we actually do that? What are the things we can do now, especially within these colder weeks that we now find ourselves in? So I'll kick it off. One thing that you and I do, and our friendship group does really well more recently, especially because it's football season and we all enjoy the football. And, you know, we often find ourselves, it's that Sunday evening shift. It's that graveyard shift, we call it. It's when Kelly Underwood is commentating on Fox Footy with Dermot Brereton.
And Will Schofield on the boundary rider, because it's a Freo West Coast game against like a GWS.
It's always a Fremantle game or a West Coast game. And these are the moments in the week where you're sitting on the couch and you're thinking, fuck, like maybe I've got work tomorrow. It's raining outside. It's average weather. Maybe I've still got a bit of work to do, but, you know, I'm just going to enjoy at least an hour and a half of kicking my feet up and watching the football and scrolling through my fantasy numbers, something like that. We've started actually just hanging out together in these moments, and as basic and as easy and as non-Einstein that may sound to people, it has actually made a lot of difference to our lives. It has given us something to look forward to in the weeks, to look forward to in these moments that would otherwise be boring, colder moments of our week, of our weekend, of our lives. These are now moments that we actually look forward to a lot, because we would normally be doing this type of activity on our own. We would normally just be sitting in the couch on our own, scrolling through the numbers and watching a crap game of football. But we've started now doing this together. You know, we say, all right, come around to my house, and it can be very low key. You don't need to stay for the whole game. Just come for, even if it's an hour and a half. And, you know, oftentimes we'll get some GYG, or we'll have a couple ice creams together. And doing that has it's just lifted our spirits in what would typically be a time of the week that would be a little bit colder, a little bit more boring, and it's uplifted us in ways that has it's just been great, hasn't it? So that is one thing that we've been doing to make some mundane moments of our week, of our lives, a lot more uplifting. What are some other examples you can think of?
Look, before I give you other examples, this episode should genuinely be titled "How to Be a Less Dull Human Being," because I think truthfully, there's nothing I do that's so miraculously fun.
That's the point of this.
But with that being said, it's small things. So I'll give you a little story. I thought this was the most revolutionary thing I did, which just shows how often I clean, which I don't, because I still live at home and I'm very lucky by that aspect. But Mum and Dad were once out, and I'm usually very good at keeping the house tidy. For whatever reason, the house wasn't looking that spick and span. I thought I'd give it a proper clean before they come back, so that I need to worry about it when they do arrive. And I thought, fuck me, I've got 5-6 hours of just having to do solid housework, laundry, vacuuming, mopping, the whole
Wow,
9
look
yards.
at you go. There we go.
And I thought, you know what?
Hobby material.
And I thought, this is going to be absolutely terrible. I'm going to be stuck with my thoughts, which isn't a bad thing. But I thought, you know what? There's like 2 or 3 Big Bros episodes I want to listen to. Jokes, it wasn't Big Bros, but I chucked on a few podcasts, and ones where there was actually, funnily enough, some sort of skills to it. So a bit of, bit of podcast inception for you guys. Do you get the reference?
Exactly.
So for me, it was, how can I turn what is a very boring activity into something where I might actually just not be thinking as much about the cleaning, but thinking about something else. Because when you're cleaning, right?
You're an autopilot.
It's mechanical. So what am I doing? I'm scrubbing away, I'm vacuuming, but I'm also learning about a really good passive income, or I'm learning about the best habit stacking method James Clear wrote about in Atomic Habits. So something as stupid as just listening to a podcast or listening to a music is really, really helpful. Something I also implement and I think is quite useful is anytime you're in the bathroom and you're dropping the kids off, I think
it's getting real TMI now, aren't we?
Well, I think we all do it. So I think
it's just being real, isn't it?
It's a great time to actually respond to those people that you wouldn't ordinarily, let's say you've got people that you've left on red and you know you need to respond to them. Don't leave that cubicle or toilet until you've responded to every single person.
Well, how long is your lunch break to be able to do that?
Oh, well, this doesn't have to be how many people are you leaving on red.
Well, exactly.
That's the real question.
Yeah.
And I think if you... Also, how long is your message to them in the first place,
That's right?
It's like, I think also responding to 1 or 2 emails. It doesn't have to be all of them, but the point is do something productive when, you're dropping the kids off. And it doesn't have to be that if you're in a hospital waiting room, or you're waiting for something, use that time to actually do small admin stuff that you don't have to do when you need to.
You don't have to set aside.
Like, for example, if I'm studying or if I'm doing writing, I'd rather not be spending that time emailing people.
Yeah.
So it's asking yourself the question, how much dead time do I have in my day-to-day where I can pair it with doing something that's going to take off the load? Because so many of us struggle with the fact that we never have time to ourselves. We never have time for deeper work or for things that we need to get done because there's so much accumulated mundane admin stuff we need to get done. So this is just kind of something I think of.
I think it's a really good point, and it's something that I do a lot of with this podcast as well. An example every week is when waiting for the goddamn thing to upload onto YouTube. Now, for any of you guys listening that might have a podcast yourself, you will know that uploading a 30 to 40 minute podcast to YouTube is an absolute piece of work, and it can take around 4 hours, especially if you're uploading in 4K like we are. So what I've started doing, or not started, I've been doing it for a while now, but actually working around when I'm going to do that. So setting the time aside to upload when I will be doing other things as well, so that I know that, okay, I'm not needing to use my computer within this time and I can do other tasks within that time. So often what I'll do is I'll upload it onto YouTube when I know that I'm going to go to the gym. So I'm not even going to be at home. So I know I'm going to be doing something else. I won't need my computer. I won't need to be doing other tasks. So I have essentially been able to conquer 2 things there without the loss of time. I know that by the time I come back, there might be a couple hours left to go, and then that's when I'll be eating my food and maybe, doing something else after that. So in a way, I haven't lost any time. I haven't lost the ability to do other things with my time because I've prioritized things according to the clock, really, and according to when I have other things lined up for myself. So it's just about prioritization of your tasks as well. I know that's a little bit of a side point, but I think that also kind of relates to what we're talking about here. Another thing was even today, I was just having to catch up on some of the physiotherapy notes that I needed to do for my patient and for a few patients because, the other night I was really busy with patients in the evening and I needed to catch up on those notes today. And, I probably had about an hour's work to do for that. So I just lightly played a very chilled SoundCloud Tobias music set. So shout out Tobias, very much into his stuff at the minute. And just having that on a low frequency volume whilst I'm smashing out that work in autopilot mode is very much like what you talk about there. It's doing a task, a mundane task, but doing it with some level of enjoyment. And it flew. It went by quickly. I was vibing whilst I was doing that. And it was so much more enjoyable than me having to say, fuck, I got to set aside an hour of work to do right now. And I'm going to dread it, but I'm going to have to do it. If you just attach something else to the task, oftentimes it'll be a lot quicker and a lot more enjoyable.
On that note, a lot of my mates at uni do an excellent job of being productive in the sense that they'll meet up at uni, they'll do their studying. And I don't like to go because I love my working space at home. And what I mean by that is, I think if you're someone who wants to study more at home but doesn't feel like they're productive and it's such a boring activity, I mean, there's no way you can make studying the most enjoyable activity. But what you can do is make your working space something pleasurable, something enjoyable, something that gives you a sense of serotonin release when you're sitting there. Pop a candle on. So you know what I started doing? You bought those, as stupid as it sounds, the things from Thailand, the herbal inhalers. And I am borderline addicted to them at the moment. And I've got one at my desk. Yeah. And, every 10 or 15 minutes, it's almost like it grounds me. It's a sense of mindfulness almost, right?
Well, it's better than puffing on a vape. So, keep inhaling the eucalyptus.
Exactly. So having something as simple as that, or having like a nice photo, or having a really tidy workstation, like something I need to get better at is every time I clean my laptop and like it looks spick and span, or my monitor, I'm more encouraged to want to use it, right? So take pride. Like if you know you're going to spend a lot of time somewhere, invest time and energy into making that place somewhere where you can even chill out, or maybe not even chill out, but somewhere where you'd be happy to go.
Yeah. For me, the biggest thing is my bedroom. If I've got clothes stacked up on my chair, my anxiety or stress levels are automatically at a baseline that they should not be at. If I clean that environment up and it's looking a lot more tidy, I'm already a lot more decompressed, a lot more relaxed, and a lot more ready to do whatever task that may be.
Another thing I'm doing, and this is going to sound even more stupid, I'm just airing all my dirty laundry. I've had like issues with like leg tightness and feet lately. So what I do is I get one of those like, it's not like a tennis ball. It's almost like a golf ball.
Like a trigger ball.
Yeah, trigger ball. And all I do when I'm studying, I literally have my foot just planted on that.
Very good. That makes me very happy to hear.
Okay, I'm glad, Mr. Physio, because first of all, it loosens my fascia, whatever it's called.
That's right.
And it's little stupid things like that just I pair it with something, so I feel almost more productive in the space that I'm in.
Habit stacking in a way.
Yeah, it kind of is, right? And I think that's a really, really important thing. So I'm also a believer that your study space shouldn't be anything more than that. But then again, I also sometimes just chuck on the footy there. Yeah. I might be doing a bit of big bros work, right? But it's mechanical, and I've got, the 1 p.m. Saturday game with bloody, I don't know, Swans versus Fremantle on in the background. And it's something get yourself a double monitor, I reckon. Do you have one?
I do have one.
It's not bad. I'd get another one.
Another game changer.
I reckon it's just anything that makes your space fun. It's right. A huge one. And that doesn't just have to go for that. Gym is really another good example. My girlfriend started running about 6 months ago, and something that really motivates her is the stuff that you wear when you run, or like any sort of workout gear. If you wear something good, you're more motivated to want to use it. Therefore, you're more motivated to want to do the activity.
It's very typical to runners, isn't it? These runners, they're the ones that love to have all the gear and essentially no idea. No hate, because I'm jealous and I wish I could run to the level of you guys, but they very much have all the gear, don't they? It's the sunglasses, it's those pouches where they got the jelly beans and the gels in. It's those people that have freaking vests on when they run, and those small like half-sized water bottles in those vests too. It's like, whatever happened to just wearing a 2XU singlet, chucking on some shorts, putting your kicks on, and getting out there and running?
Well, the thing is, you can make fun of a lot of those people, but it's actually like as much of a meme as it is that they've invested so much money into this equipment. It's getting them
to do the activity.
to do like a very beneficial activity, something that's really, really healthy.
Exactly.
So,
Fair enough.
as stupid as it sounds, if you're a bit of a shopaholic and you want more motivation to go exercise, and it doesn't have to be going for a run, it could be going for a walk or going to the gym or doing CrossFit, high rocks, whatever it is, invest in some nice gym gear. And I'll be honest with you, I've started thinking about that.
Look good, feel good.
My gym gear is like the most outdated crap in the world.
What is it? It's your old...
it's like a grey Nike top.
Or your old Liverpool from the 17-18 season type top that is 2 sizes too small for you now.
Nah, I don't wear that. We've got a friend, Sterling Ellis, who loves wearing soccer tops to the gym, and he...
Soccer tops still from school, that is.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Don't actually, if you're first year out of school, something I used to do, which was terrible, so cringeworthy, was I would wear my like soccer tops that I would use in school. So like, the school uniform that you would be given when you played sport.
Yeah.
And I thought like, I looked good in it. It's like, bro, you're 19. Like, you finished school.
You finished.
So you could, don't do that. But like,
that's
no hate.
That's some dirty laundry exposed right there.
The principle is really, really simple. If you're going to do something, it's investing time and energy and even money into something that will aid your adherence to that activity.
Yeah. Exactly.
If you love going to the sauna, and you go to the gym and your gym has a sauna,
that's something we love.
You go gym and then sauna.
Yeah, or even just sauna on its own. It's something that's provided a lot of relief for me recently as well, and it doesn't have to be too long of a task, but just getting up out of your bedroom when you might be really cold and getting into even just that warmer environment of a sauna, of a steam room, can be for 15 minutes. Not only is it nice to just get a little bit of warmth. I mean, you can whack a heater on in your room as well, but at least this is getting warm in a different way where you're getting a bit of a sweat on. And then afterwards, I always feel a hell of a lot better and I sleep a hell of a lot better as well. So it's something that I really like doing, especially midweek as well during those deader times. And another thing that we like doing during the week, we spoke about what we like to get up to on the weekend within our friendship group, but midweek, an activity, a ritual, a tradition it has now become. And shout out to the T group chat, because we have started, well, not started, but we've been doing this, since about the start of the year now, is midweek. We find a time and we gather around at someone's house and we have a cup of tea together and we have some nice, good discussion about life. Very simple task. We're just drinking tea. We're mates. We're just drinking tea. It's just like men that would, I guess, do the same thing by going to a pub and going to a bar. But we get enjoyment by doing this with a nice hot mug of tea in our hands. It's warmth. It's comfort. We're in someone's home. We pair it with some cookies and some cake and we have some good discussions. And it's a nice midweek activity. It's low effort. It's low cost. And
you're in bed by a reasonable hour.
You're in bed by a reasonable hour. Not always though, because sometimes these discussions can get really in depth and we almost contemplate bringing the mics out and starting a podcast as well. Maybe calling it the Tea Podcast. But
it could be a separate, like, how like you got podcast episode 110, but then have like a midweek mini podcast,
a mini tea podcast.
Could actually work.
Maybe it could be something we could implement. But point aside, it's a tradition. It's become a ritual now, where it's a midweek activity where we would typically be feeling really tired, which we are. We're always tired post work. We're all working. We're always really tired working or studying, but we also want to find the time to actually see our friends still, because we're so busy during the week. So rather than just relying on the weekends, we say, hey, you know what? Even though we are tired, let's essentially be a little bit tired together and have a cup of tea together, even if it's just for an hour and a half after dinner. We're all tired. We know that. That's fine. But at least we're together. We're enjoying each other's company. We don't really all need to be so expressive and verbose and conversationally in what we're talking about. Sometimes it's just nice to sit together, see each other face to face, because when you start working and studying full time or whatever, you don't get that privilege of seeing each other all that often. So even if it is just for that hour and a half midweek where you're having a cuppa together, it has become something that we all very much look forward to and makes our midweek mundanity a lot more enjoyable.
Is that a word? Mundanity? Mundaneness? Anyways.
It is now.
Something I like there is, because I think for nowadays, in our generation, loneliness epidemic, it's a real thing. And I think if you can have some sort of activity during the week where you pair it with some sort of social connection, it's always going to be a good thing. So like even going for a walk and giving your friend a call, right? It doesn't even have to be that you go for a walk and that's the time you give your friend a call, but having something dedicated within the working week where you do have a chance to connect with other people. And it could be through a club, it could be through your friends. Like for me, I'm lucky that I've got it through, for example, our friendship group, our tea group, but I've also have it through exercise, like group exercise, which for me is jiu-jitsu. And that's an excellent place where I get to speak to other people. So have something back-ended within your week where you have something to look forward to. Because I think that's why a lot of us sometimes struggle through these winter months is it's so easy to plan stuff when it's warm, when it's summer, when it's vibey, but when it's cold and all you can do is listen to Will Schofield's boundary riding commentary, it's very easy to...
We love Will Schofield though.
I don't, as a day supporter.
Oh.
I don't know why, just not a fan of him.
Oh, fair enough.
Joking, of course, I really don't know him. But the point I'm trying to make is, and it's really, really crucial, is that we can't, it's like last few weeks ago we talked about why self-care can't be treated as a luxury. This is your self-care.
It's a necessity.
It's a necessity. So the necessity in this case is have something that is a non-negotiable thing you can enjoy during the week. Because let's be honest, not everyone here, most people aren't excited to go to work most days. And most people know the predictability of their lives when they finish. They go home, they might go to exercise, they might not. They have some food, they might see their partner, they might not see their partner. They put on Netflix and they go to sleep and it's rinse and repeat. But what can you do to add a little bit more novelty in that day-to-day experience? Because the reason we feel like time flies by as we get older is because routine, there's nothing to break it up, right? So novelty tends to slow down what I believe is the perception of time going by quickly. So when you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over, your brain almost kind of lumps everything into one experience. But if you start breaking down things and start introducing things or doing something that is kind of simple but almost in a way gets you at a point where there's a little bit of novelty. It's like if you never hang out with your friends on a Wednesday night, but you're doing fuck all on that Wednesday night anyway, you were just going to start the new season of Squid Game anyway. Well, can that not wait till Thursday night? See your friends. You'll still be asleep by 10:30, 11. You'll see them at 8 o'clock. You go till 9:30. You share a few funny stories. Man, the amount of times I've had really stressful weeks with uni, and I probably would have just been as stressed at home, but so we go to tea and I'm hearing about one of my friends' dating quarrels. Man, I'm not trying to, I'm not happy that they're going through that experience.
But that's the point. We'll talk about it and we'll let it out and we'll get people's opinions and we feel better afterwards.
It's like the situation room, it takes you to a point where you can disconnect from daily life. And I think that's the main thing I want to say is like, if you want to get to a point where mundaneness feels more enjoyable, back end it with novelty.
Yeah, and look, these are very much examples with friends and friendships. Same goes for if you are in a relationship, if you are dating, because it's like we said, it's so easy to find things to do in the summer. You've got the beach, you've got places to go to, you've got walks, you've got hikes. You're so much more limited in winter as to what the hell you can do.
Ice skating.
Oh, well, maybe. I mean, but yeah, that's something that takes some level of talent. But something that I guess me and my lovely girlfriend did the other day was we just got some bagels in the morning and we thought, you know what, we could wake up in the morning and we could just go down to a cafe and get food and that would be lovely in itself. But we thought, you know what, why not make it into some form of a task, some form of an activity that we wouldn't otherwise do and we wouldn't do every other day. So it was the whole enjoyment of going to the bagel shop and getting some bagels and then going to the deli and getting some pastrami and then, picking out what we're going to have with it on the side and then actually coming home and making it together and the whole process and then eating it together. That whole process, it was fun. It was enjoyable. It was a task to do and it was something that you could very much easily just pass up and say, oh, so much effort, too much effort. Let's just go to a cafe. But by actually putting in that effort, because like a friendship, like a relationship, it's the effort that makes it worth it. And it's the effort that makes you guys more into each other and build that connection. So by putting in that effort and having and doing that task that is a little bit novel, it became something that was so much fun and that we can look back on in the week and say, you know what, my week was made really nice by doing that. This was a highlight of my week in what would otherwise be a very mundane week.
And I like the example that if you're in a relationship doing kind of tasks together, if you don't want to meal prep and it's an activity that you absolutely hate doing,
do it together,
right? I think there is no harm in doing the most boring activities with your partner, because if you're going to be bored, at least be bored together, and you're probably going to be less bored than if you were doing it on your own. So I think those are really, really good ideas. I think also another thing that you can do in winter, and I'm a huge fan of it, is I love my bakeries, and something I'd love to do, or even cafes, is sometimes go onto Broadsheet and see which ones are rated, and make it a task to even go there, and maybe make it like a once a fortnight thing where, you know, it's you go, whether it's with a friend or your partner, and you explore a new place. Like for me, I like food. I'm not an ultimate foodie like some people I know, but I appreciate it. So there's a bit of adventure. Maybe you're going to a different part of town that you wouldn't usually, or you'd walk into, let's say you always go for your evening walk around your suburb. But what about if you wanted to go 10, 15 minutes out?
Exactly.
Right? Like I don't live in Elwood. I love Elwood. So I try to sometimes just walk around there because it's fun for me.
Exactly. So I think messaging for this episode, guys, is put a little bit of effort into some tasks that would give you a little bit more novelty, a little bit more of spice, and would make the mundane activities of life a lot more enjoyable. Because ultimately, especially in these months, it's very easy to just get stuck in a rut, feel tired, feel cold, feel bored. But if you can do those things, but with other people, you can feel tired with someone else and have some good conversation and have a laugh. You can feel a bit bored and try to say, you know what, let's maybe go to that bakery that's maybe 10 minutes out of town versus where we would normally go. Or, you know what, let's go and make some bagels instead of going to a cafe and ordering some bagels. But so just thinking a little bit outside the box, putting in a little bit of extra effort. And I think that's where it stems from. In these winter months, you need to kind of go that extra mile, because things aren't as easy as in those summer months to find things to do and to be so entertained. So go that little bit of extra effort, look for those things to do, and do it with those loved ones, and you will automatically turn those mundane weeks, which we might be in now, to ones that you will always remember and you will always have fun with, no matter what time of the year you're in.
On that note, guys, enjoy your mundane moments of life.
And let us know what they are, because we'd love to hear them.
Yes, I'd love to know some more hacks.
That's it. Alrighty. Have a good week and tell us those mundane moments.